just to be honest with you, man.
Oh,
This
God.
is my very first time interviewing an artist.
Oh, sick.
So-
I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to go, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't like you at all.
Oh, come on, man. No way. One of the things that makes this guy special is the ability to so fluidly move from one genre to another. Let's not forget the films that you've been in. Just talking to one of my coworkers in the hallway, absolutely crushed it as, Jesus
Tommy
Christ.
Lee?
Tommy Lee, there we
All
go,
right,
yes.
thank you.
Man,
Proud of that role.
Oh, man, and I'm already stumbling out of the gate. Now, it's hard to put a label on this guy, rapper, rock star, actor, country star, and more. MGK.
Perhaps.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
I'm really excited about the new single and the maybe possible pivot to country here. I think, once again, this is really going to show off your range musically, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily say it's a pivot by any means. I try to do justice to the sample of our, I guess our interpolation, I should say. But I also try to do right by not blatantly making a country song.
You didn't go all the way in.
No,
you kind of stayed true to some of the rock roots.
For sure. And that was what people are like, how could this have taken 2 years? I think, man, when you're, one, cautious of, such a classic song and touching that, and two, cautious of my fan base and the general speculation of like, is this a genre switch? I think you're kind of, my job as the type of artist I am was, I'm a guitar player, so I went straight to the guitars and I was like, okay, how can we not make this country? And how can we also not disrespect that this is a country song?
Sure, it's classic. Yeah.
How can I also somehow make it rock, but how can I not make it like, you guys can't see my hands out there, but I kind of, I'm like the two. How do we not make it like two fingers up?
Okay.
Rock star hands rock.
Sure. Yeah. No, I got you.
And that was why it took so long crafting the guitars in general. Like we must have done 100, and I mean that might be an understatement of how many different guitars we laid. But I was like, we have to make this MGK.
Now, and you changed pitch and stuff too a few
Dude,
different times,
I
right?
I went all over with keys. Same with Jelly, like there was one key that I loved, and it wasn't, it didn't do justice to Jelly's voice. It kind of felt like he was like, dang, I really wish I could sing on this song.
That's really respectable as an artist yourself,
Yeah.
looking out for him like that, making sure it's perfect not just for yourself but also for him.
And to take advantage of like, hey man, like Jelly's a great singer. I want to hear him. I want to hear the best that he can bring to the record.
Absolutely, I get it. Again, the new single, Lonely Road with Jelly Roll, it sounds great. It's already blowing up, trending at #1 on YouTube, over 18 million views just this morning, the song itself.
On YouTube?
Yeah, man.
It has 18 million views?
18 million views already, been streamed 50 million plus times. Let's talk about the beginning process, just getting going, writing the actual lyrics. Tell me, how did that take off?
Back of a pickup truck, just joking around, driving on a country road.
That is literally, sounds like a country song.
Yeah, and then obviously like kind of just making it more emo, and just we changed country to lonely, and like the natural progression of how that turned into our own version of the chorus. And then the lyrics, I love the verses so much because it almost has like a hip-hop cadence, like when it goes from the you have the start of the verse, but then that pre-chorus is I hear the devil wears Prada, but I couldn't read the tags, and your horn started showing. It's almost like me rapping, which
true to you, true to your roots, for sure.
And it felt like something identifiable. We're like, oh, this is MGK. And let's see, man. Like, I mean, Jelly's verse, changed a couple times.
Tell me about getting him involved. Like, what is that like? Or was that a phone call, a text message to him?
Dude, that was losing a Grammy and riding around in a car together afterwards.
You guys were rolling around together in the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he drove himself that night. I loved it. He drove himself to the Grammys, and we were sitting in the car, and obviously there was like a level of bummed out. He lost at that year's Grammy. I lost it the year before, so it was kind of like
Next time.
Yeah,
I got you. All right.
And in my head, I was like, this might be a contender for next time right here.
Okay.
And the lights just went off, which is such a good sign.
That's a sign, right?
Such a good
ominous
sign. Dude, oh my God. I keep saying about the song, I have this feeling, man. Like, I have this prolific, this epiphany where it's just like, it's going either #1 or it's going to the Grammys.
Well, it just seems like kind of the way that it so spontaneously, organically happened for you. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong about that, but is that different? Kind of different for you? I mean, I would assume like songwriting
It's different with the
is...
song of this level. I don't think it's different with a lot of the songs that I write because a lot of them are so organic and they just come from a place of truth. But this one, yeah, it always had a special feeling along there. I mean, dude, being in the back of a pickup truck and being like, that's kind of a good idea. Then going to a studio, laying it, and being like, this actually sounds like a good idea.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Getting Jelly on it and being like, this collaboration is a good idea.
2 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was in for the ride after 1 year.
Okay.
So 1 year in, he got stuck on that. Now we have another 365 days of working on this record, and him being like, "Good God, well, again, we have to record this." And that I'm so particular. I'm sure he would have loved to just come in and knock it out, but we did so many sessions where I was like, "Jelly, I need you to come back and redo everything again."
So it's blowing up. It's on its way. Potentially looking real good. Going to be your first #1 overall. Maybe we got a Grammy coming down the road here for you as well. What would that mean for you?
I mean,
is that something that matters to you, like a checklist, or is that? I mean,
look, I think in a situation like this, when you call it out, and it's like Babe Ruth pointing to the outfield and exactly where he's going to hit it, and him hitting it there, and it being a home run. Like, it's something is just so mystical and magical about seeing that happen, where you watched an artist call something out and then it happened. So it's less like of a validation thing and more of like a participation between my fans and I, being like, look, we did this. Because without the fans, this record wouldn't be anything, and without me believing in it, they wouldn't believe in it. And so me just calling it out and having this feeling about it and it coming true in front of the world because we have cameras and I'm saying this out loud so many times. I mean, dude, it's like, wouldn't you want to see that home run?
Absolutely. Especially, as you said, a fan, and there's something about you that is real special, the way you treat your fans, and specifically your ties, the way you are so loyal to Cleveland, your hometown. Man, most people, when they blow up, they go somewhere, LA, they go to New York. Why is it so important for you to stay true to Cleveland, be loyal to your city?
Well, I mean, I take them with me everywhere I go, even if it's just me wearing it on the hat. I think it's more of like a safe place for me. I think other people, maybe they have an odd relationship with their hometown and they just want to get away. I think like I was down to get away from for lack of better words, like poverty, right? Like just wanting to get away from like struggling to provide. But the city itself and the friends that I have there, it's kind of like a safe house. So if the whole world is in shambles, you go inside the house and you at least feel like you're safe.
They got your back.
Yeah, for sure. I was outside last night with Teddy Swims. He's performing here, and we were just outside, and dude, just the love of just walking down the street, like just and the amount of people who have stories with me from back in the days. I was running into people last night. They were like, "Oh man, dude, I partied with you one time in this tent in the middle of a forest at this festival you guys threw back in the day, and you were hanging upside down." And I just love that so many people from Ohio have stories with me. It's
and I'm sure none of these instances are things that you remember, right?
Well, this one, I do remember this particular one because it was a festival that we actually throw, and I know exactly. I say tent, but it's more of like a dome.
Okay.
That kind of starts at 1 a.m. and it's just this fun like party dome after the actual main performances are done. But I mean, yeah, I do remember a lot of those things.
I'm just thinking, man, it's got to be pretty wild having people come up. These are lifetime memories that you've created for these people. I mean, they're coming up to you. I mean, just the feeling of seeing their face and having that little flash, whether you remember it,
Well, fortunately, so many of the memories that get brought to me are hilarious. Like, oh man, I was there when you chipped your tooth, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. So I have some, because I was so wild. I think the stories are always hilarious and stand out.
Sure, worth talking about. Yeah, absolutely. Now you had a super busy summer. I mean, in addition it seems like to me, man, I don't know, in addition to you making new music.
I feel like I've just been playing Fortnite.
Okay. I mean,
constantly.
Busy playing Fortnite. All right, man. We saw you throwing out the first pitch at the Guardians game.
Right. That was cool.
In a way, or whatever. Was that spontaneous? Did you plan that? Did you plan on throwing it into the crowd?
I worked with my friend Sam right here for like a couple days just practicing my pitch because he's a good baseball player. And I was like, I'm going to have such a good athletic baseball pitch.
Yeah, you're going to really hum it in there.
I was going to hum it in there. And last minute, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go with a metaphor here. And I just threw it to the people.
No, I loved it, man. I mean, no, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. So, pretty awesome. Now, let's talk about a little bit about MGK Day. I know we've talked about Cleveland and how important it is to you, but this is a really cool event. I mean, we're celebrating unity, basically celebrating the community of Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me exactly when, or not so much when, but I guess why did you feel like that you needed to kick off this big 5-day event?
I think I'm just a vessel for it, as a name, to kind of bring spotlight to the local vendors and stores that we have there. And yeah, I mean, I kind of just fall back and just go into, hey, I can offer a great performance, and we don't really care about the money at all, so we're fine to do all of this for free, and just as long as we get some donations.
And I believe you guys were helping out the school districts.
Oh yeah,
stuff, right?
for sure. So
yeah.
all the school districts and I mean anything, even if it's like the Boys and Girls Clubs and all that. And my friend Dre, who's also in this room, is really more so responsible for bossing up and being the guy, head honcho with all that stuff. I just, I take my name and use it as an opportunity to, since I have a relationship with the mayor, like we get these kind of approvals to do cool things like shut down a street and bring 10
and then with
12, 14,000
with your big
out.
name and notoriety, you get some other stars, Travis Barker.
Oh yeah, and that too,
Jelly
like just
Roll.
yeah, for sure. Like that's like, hey, if I can make everybody's year by bringing some people that normally wouldn't come here to the city, like I'm using that power.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome stuff. Now, again, you're up. You got 3 People's Choice Country Awards.
Sick.
You're up for. I think it's this Thursday. We're gonna find out, right?
I'm stoked,
man.
dude.
Son to Me. You released that back in June.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Again, I know you said you're not pivoting to country music, but you stopped by the CMA Fest in June. You covered a chick song.
Yeah.
Now we got Lonely Road. Man, again,
it would seem like I'm a liar right now.
The 7th album coming out here is, I mean, we're not going full country, but we're going to get a couple country songs.
I can guarantee you I'm not going country. But
okay, all right.
I think I have a kinship with that community just because it was played a lot from my father growing up. And a lot of my friends happen to be country artists, or at least from the country. And the only gripe that I have is that I don't have that accent that they have. It absolutely baffles me that I'm stuck with this Ohio accent, and that we couldn't have been blessed with a more twangy.
You can work on it, right?
They've already heard me talk enough. If I would have just kept some mystery to myself, and then when I first spoke, had a little bit of this going on. Like this interview would be so sick if I was just talking.
A little bit more drawn out.
Oh, it'd be so cool, man.
Man, I'm so excited to see where you go, because again, you've done
I've switched genres. I'm going to switch my accent. That's my next feat.
I'm just saying that it feels like you've done just about everything. I mean, again, you've done rap, you've done rock.
I haven't went to the moon.
Maybe that's next, man.
Never know.
Maybe that's next.
I don't know if I believe we've ever went there.
Andre 3000, he just put out a full
went to the flute
flute
and what's
instrumental.
Funny, I just bought a flute in E minor.
Okay, there we go. Maybe 10 to 15 years. You're playing nothing but Norwegian traditional instruments or something.
Crazy fire. Yeah, hit a little Celtic war cry horn.
All right. You never know, man.
I will say, and it's funny you said that. I can guarantee you, a Nordic war horn sound will be on this album.
On this album?
1,000%.
No way. Love it,
so
man.
You nailed that one.
Again, Lonely Road. It's the number one, or excuse me,
Lonely Road. It's not number one yet, but I will say
it's on its way.
I will say you play a huge part in that. So you gotta
let's make it happen.
You gotta load that up over and over again. We gotta have everyone in this area be like, oh my god, this is when we know we made it. When you guys hear this on the radio, when you hear the guitar slaps, when it goes lonely, as soon as that happens, we know we're doing something. When you guys are absolutely sick of it and furious, being like, oh my god, I've heard this song 16 times today. That's the goal, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to be sick of it, but also love it.
There you go. Name of the new single, Lonely Road, on its way to becoming the first overall #1. MGK, man,
Let's
thank
go,
you so
dude.
much for stopping by.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Because I'll answer them. My feet are up on the wall. Okay, my favorite childhood cereal, Golden Grahams.
Dude, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I got one ask.
Okay.
Please feel free to shoot it down.
Okay.
I do a bit on my show every Wednesday called Wicked Rhymes Wednesday. I rap a children's book.
Uh-huh. Oh, let me rap a children's book.
Would you rap a children's book?
100,000%.
All right. We go Tupac.
Yeah, you know what? It makes a fellow think. The shape of you, the shape of me, the shape of everything I see. A bug, a balloon, a bed, a bike. None of these shapes are ever quite alike, Just to think about the shape of beans and flowers and mice and the big machines. I can't turn the page fast enough, give me a little space, Just think about the shape of strings and elephants, ... and other things. The shape of lips, the shape of ships, the shape of water when it drips. Peanuts and pineapples, noses and grapes, everything comes in different shapes. Yeah, George, you're right, and think about the shape of gum. The many shapes of chewing gum. Little weird, Dr. Seuss, hold up. And the shape of smokes and marshmallows and fires and mountains and roosters and horses and tires. And the shape of camels, the shape of bees, and the wonderful shape of backdoor keys. And the shape of spider webs and all these clothes. And speaking of shapes, now just suppose you were shaped like any of these or those, or shaped like a blog or a garden hose. Of all the shapes we might have been, I say hooray for all the shapes we're in.
Woo!
And ladies, that's the end of the book. I hope you enjoyed the time that I took to read Dr. Seuss, Dr. Kells, everybody else, the story I tell. Thank you for having me up here. Thank you guys.